But this is why the Premier League is like, if we're talking skill level, it's harder because why? You have to be consistent for 38 games. That's how long the season is in the Premier League. 38 games, every team. But the peak, the absolute, this is what we judge players on. When we judge Messi, Ronaldo, Xavi, Iniesta, Modric, all these great talents, yeah, what do we judge? We don't judge them on, how they did in La Liga. No, because
it's blooming.
Hey, is this thing on?
All right, guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Our Recording, and we're coming at you guys with something a little different. Rather than a podcast this week, we're bringing you more football. See, look at me. I'm straight already. More football / soccer coverage with our man, Monti, man. Give it up.
Thank you, lads. A pleasure being back.
I know. I'm excited, dog, man. We've been texting a little bit more. You've been helping me out with just getting more familiar with like what's going on in football nowadays, especially Gage too, because I know Gage really wants to get back into it. And I thought like with the season coming to an end, right, of the Premier League and just really just the European like 5 leagues in general, I was like, why not let's do another episode where we break down how the season went for all of our favorite teams, and with the Champions League coming up at the end of this week and the Conference League on Wednesday. Like, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to do so.
Of course. Spoke well.
And since I'm the only champion on the table this year, I feel like...
Whoa. We're yet to see on Wednesday.
That is true. Wednesday we'll see if you're going to join us.
Yes.
I love how you got your whole room decked out and all the jerseys and everything.
This is this season's top. This is when we last won the Dutch title top, and obviously the flag is there. Anyways, we're in the European final. Man City didn't make it to a European final.
God, here he goes.
So, life is good.
Well, where do you guys want to start? Because we can start Conference League, we can start Champions League, or we can start Premier League.
I think what we'll do, we should start on the Premier League because that actually happened. So that happened on Sunday, just gone. So we could touch on the crazy stuff that's happened. You know, how the Premier League love a script. You know, there was a point where City looked like they was going to throw it away. But, yeah, Pep Guardiola, 3 goals in 5 minutes, sealed you up the title.
Hey, when he made that joke about him learning it from Real Madrid, I didn't like that at all. I was like, no. You can't keep making these jokes. Like, yes, we won today, but, like, relax, dog. Like, I'm still upset about that day. Like,
Exactly.
I guess
so
it's like... I was gonna say,
we'll
break it down for you, Gage. Like, what happened?
Yeah. I was gonna say, as someone who has not been caught up with soccer as much as I should be, which I apologize again. What would you guys say was the most exciting thing about the Premier League this year? I guess this season.
How every single team went through a period of jeopardy. 100%. City went through that by dropping the league, the distance between them and Liverpool, because at one point it was double digits, and then Liverpool brought it all the way back. So that was jeopardy. Liverpool had a very slow start to the season. It wasn't expected, and then obviously following last season, another side of the game where we didn't expect them to be where they were this season, innit? Then you have the likes of Chelsea. They just won the Champions League last season. They're still the current Champions League holders. Obviously, we're yet to see on Saturday to who wins between Liverpool and Real Madrid. But everyone came into the season thinking, especially Chelsea fans and myself, I thought Chelsea are going to do something this season in the league. I can't lie, because I thought Champions League success, that might mount a title challenge this season. But obviously, they cemented third. Then you had Tottenham. They literally wasted half a season and still got top 4. That just shows you everyone else below them had a horrible season, like to their standards.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna piggyback what Monty said. Like going into the year, like a lot of people thought this was gonna be the most competitive title race, like in the Pep and Klopp era that we've ever had. Like, and by competitive, it's not necessarily like just Liverpool and City, but Chelsea and then United were all gonna compete as well, right? because Chelsea had just come off the back of beating us in the Champions League final. They kind of like, and they ended the year really, really strong. Did they win? Did they win the Carabao or the FA Cup at the end of that?
They won.
Carabao.
They lost the Carabao Cup final this year. They lost the FA Cup final this year.
No, I mean
But
last year,
they-
like coming into this year. They
Oh,
they beat us in Carabao, right? And then they lost to Leicester in the FA Cup, right?
Yeah.
So they had like high hopes because for them, like they
And
finally
they won the Club World Cup. They were the world champions of club football. So they was looking good at a certain point.
because they spent 100 million on like their star striker who they thought was gonna like take them over the hump to match City and match Liverpool, and in reality that ended up probably being the worst the worst transfer the whole year because all the drama that he had with them. And then you look at United, the frauds that they are. They coming into the year, I'm getting my They came into the year right talking crazy. Oh, we got Ronaldo. Oh, we have Varane.
Whoa.
We have
Did
Ronaldo.
he scored more goals than anyone in your team, alive.
I don't care. That
It's
doesn't
just that,
phase.
isn't it? Why is he like one?
That don't phase me. That don't do nothing for me.
He had an amazing season this year. Listen,
He
as everyone obviously knows, I'm a big United fan. The only reason why you see all of this final stuff is because that's my local team, innit? You get me? But when we're talking Premier League football, obviously I support United, and this season, like this was the biggest reality check. I said this to everyone, all my United friends, all my other friends that support other teams. I said this season gave the biggest reality check in Premier League history for United, because we've literally finished 2 seasons ago. We finished third in the Premier League. Last season, we finished second. Then we added Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo. So we're like, ooh, title charge. We finished second last season. What? Progression first? But then what happened? Everything after the first month of the season, everything just slowly declined. We sacked the manager, Oli, so he was gone. Then we signed an interim of an interim in Carrick. Then he left. Ragnick came in, another interim manager. So I thought at this point, this was around like November, December time, and I really thought, oh yeah, I've checked out the season. The fact that we're hiring substitute of a substitute team, bro, doesn't make sense. And then obviously only now has Ten Hag been announced. You see the pictures on socials of Ten Hag being unveiled as the new Manchester United manager. But honestly speaking, there was a lot of delusion in the start of the season. And listen, everyone like knew City was going to be in and around that title charge. But the way they've done it this season, and I think there's a lot of conversation that needs to be had about Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Domestically, they are the second best team in Premier League era. Like they've got 6 Premier League titles. They are the second best underneath United. But apart from United, they're bigger than every other team in the Premier League in terms of winning the Premier League. They've got 6 titles. You get me? So that's a lot. You get me?
I wouldn't honestly, man. I love hearing that as a City fan, but I'm like sort of in agreement with you, sort of not. Like, because for Gage, like the best way I could describe it, right, is that like for the past like 10 years, I thought we've been on our fucking shit, especially domestically. Like we've been like challenging for the title pretty much like 7 or 8 of the years, right? I think the biggest thing for us though is just more so like a lot of the times we take our foot off the gas at like the worst opportunities. And this year we almost had it. Like the same thing happened to us. Like towards the March and April is when we take our foot off the gas, right? Because I think for us, like our team, we're so mentally checked in for wanting that Champions League, right? That other than like last year, I thought last year we kind of handled it fucking great. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like we didn't really have any title challenges. Like to be honest, like, and this year that I just remember that Madrid loss, bro, that broke me. That almost had me in tears, dog. I was so sick. Like, dog, the fact that we let
what's Monti doing?
Lad, let me educate you guys, innit? This is European heritage. You know? This man won the Champions League with Manchester United. If I go and flick through any random page, you see us lifting the Champions League. Gage, this is the difference between me and your friend Ethan. Ethan, where's your Champions League pictures? Show me. The only pictures that I know is Aguero crying
Funny guy. Funny. All of us. Hey, they're in the mail. Like they're coming in a year when Hanlon lifts it. They're coming in a year. Our white savior is here. He is here. He's here, man. Bro, that's the one thing that like I was literally looking forward to. Because next year, let's be honest, right? It's probably gonna be us and Liverpool winning the league.
Yeah.
It's like Chelsea's cool. Chelsea got to rebuild. Like
Chelsea, they have to do major.
Jason Gage. The thing is, Chelsea got to rebuild their whole defense.
Yeah, they've lost 3 centre backs, which is massive. Like they're gonna lose 3 centre backs. Christian Pulisic, the LeBron James of soccer, he's gonna go soon. Lukaku will probably get sold. There's a new owner.
Lukaku's their $100 million striker. They spent money.
That's the 100 million guy. Yeah, 100 million guy. But I have a question. I know we went on a little tangent, but we're gonna bring it back in it. My question is, because you two know American sports to a T, so I want to ask you a question about the new Chelsea owners, because apparently he owns the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
How is he like, and how do like you guys in America see him in it?
See, with him, he's not one of the, I would describe it as he's not one of the premier owners when it comes to American sports. Like the Dodgers are probably Gage, like neither one of us are baseball guys, but the Dodgers are probably the most successful baseball team in the past 10 years, right? They've up until last year, they were always the team that could always. They're sort of like City in the sense they could always get to the final, but they could never close the deal. They had all the money, they had all this. So up until last year, they could never close the deal. But they closed the deal last year, so it's like you can't really say nothing to them now, right? So and he's willing to spend the cash.
I mean, I'm not sure how this is really going to go. I'm not really too well informed on this owner particularly, but Monty, I feel like you would know more about this than me or Ethan, or I guess maybe just me. But how do American owners typically fare in European soccer and owning European soccer clubs? It's I figured it wasn't a great track record, so I'm interested to see how Chelsea will be able to bounce back from, or I guess move forward with a new owner, American owner, and see if they can keep doing what they were doing, because they had to sell the team, right? Because of everything that's going on in Russia.
Russia, Ukraine,
yeah.
So I want to ask you, because I know a lot of us European fans, especially the Premier League fans, we are confused on how this will have an effect on Chelsea. So like the new ownership, for example, because he comes to the games, we see him at the games, Chelsea Wolves, Chelsea last game of the season. But obviously, as I've just mentioned, and you obviously noticed, that American owners, should I say, don't have a great track record of like doing the business in England and in Europe, because I think the only American owners that are seen as okay are the Liverpool fans. But even they don't like their owners because of how stingy they are with their money. So, for example, the only reason why Liverpool are this successful in the last 5 years is because of their manager, and it's because they have assets that they can sell and get a large amount of money from. So, Coutinho, he went to Barca for 100+ million. What did they do with that money? They signed Van Dijk and Alisson. So it's like they're having to be self-sufficient, and the FSG, because I think they own another
FSG is Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
They own, I think, the oh my god, I'm tripping. They own the Bucks, I think, or is that y'all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I think it's the Buccaneers and
the Bucket, or was that y'all?
No, that's the Glazers. That's
the
us.
Glazers own the Buccaneers. That's what it was.
Yeah, the Glazers own Tampa. I know that.
Yeah, that's
FSG, FSG own Red Sox, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the Red Sox, yes.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of those.
So, duh, yeah, that's Fenway Sports Group. Yeah,
yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, you lot call it by the actual title.
Yeah. The thing is, I was thinking, I was like, what does that acronym stand for? It's Fenway Sports. Yeah, so that makes sense.
And don't get me wrong, like I said, like Tampa and the Bucks, like Tampa and the Red Sox are more so. The Red Sox are probably one of the bigger sports organizations in the U.S., but the best way I could describe it is they're not like the superstar owners like that they are in England. Like And here it's probably Jerry Jones for the Cowboys. He's probably, but that's what he's probably the biggest owner of all the sports. Like
or
him.
at least here in American sports, I
But
would say.
how often do they pump the money into the teams? That's
A
the
lot.
because you see in England, not only does it cost a lot to have a Premier League club, but you also have to spend the money because in England we have the likes of City who will go out and sign, 50 million, 100 million on Grealish, 50 million here, 50 million there. You have Chelsea who before obviously they got sold by the government and all that stuff. They had Abramovich who would just pump money into the club. So football is football. You don't go into football to make a profit.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a profit, you have to look 10 years time. You know what I mean? When your team becomes successful, like City, for example, initially when the Arabs bought City, they didn't make a profit for like the first 5-6 years. Because why? They bought the club and they had to pump millions, close to billions, in order for like the area development, the academy, the stadium, everything. It's only in the last, I would say, half a decade where they've won most of the Premier Leagues. They're closing up all the domestic competitions and going deep into Champions League. That's when you're now starting to see, okay, the money's now coming to fruition. They're getting their bread and everyone's living happily ever after. So that's why I was asking, because in the UK, in the Premier League, American owners are seen as stingy because the Cronkies don't want to spend their money on Arsenal. The Glazers don't want to spend their money at United. FSG doesn't want to spend their money on Liverpool. So it's like, okay, Chelsea have now got a new American owner. What's going to happen with them?
Well, because I think it's different, Ethan, because I think you could probably explain it a little bit better with like Jerry Jones in that situation. I guess how it would transition over. But I think the cap room is a big reason why that we don't have that problem in American sports, because that money doesn't come directly from the owners, as far as I'm aware. That comes from the organization as a whole and like the league giving them a certain amount of money to spend on players. So the owners are never going out of their way and being like, oh, we're going to throw $100 million at the best player who's on the free market. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, Gage is right. Like the biggest thing is the transition, because with a lot of American sports, really except for baseball has the cap-ish. It's like a soft cap. Like you're not supposed to cross it. Like, and there's gonna be a penalty, but the penalty is not crazy, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a transition to soccer in the sense that like with basketball and American football, like you're only allowed to spend like 280 mil, like really on wages a year. Like you can't really cross that line. And the teams are a lot bigger too. Like you can't have like with the NFL is a 52-man roster. You have to split like 300 mil across 52 players.
Yeah. And I think there is to some degree where the owners can put in a little bit more money. I think it's called a luxury tax, where like if you want to keep certain players around who have been on your team, then the owners will have to go out of their way and pay a little bit more money. I think that's how that works. I'm not a cap expert.
Yeah.
But
so that's why like I find it interesting whenever you talk about how like with these American owners coming to European soccer, they're seen as stingy, and it's kind of force of habit for them, because they're like, man, we can't really spend money like that over here in America.
So surely if you guys restrict your owners in America to spend, and you lot are just spending whatever the league gives you and whatever extra revenue you make for yourself, surely then they would have a lot of money available to spend for the European teams because like I don't understand why American owners come into Europe to buy football teams, and they know obviously the NFL and NBA and like American sports, you lot have a massive market. Your country alone is like 350 million people, so you guys cater to a lot of people. However, the rest of the world have football to look at. So when you own a European team, that's prestige, that's pedigree, that's heritage. So when you're not able to spend your money in America, surely when you come and buy these European clubs, you get to know the European system. And that's why a lot of fans don't like the American owners, because they want to bring the American mindset to the leagues. And it's like, that doesn't work here. Like, this is why United haven't challenged for God. This is why we haven't won the league in God knows how long. Because even though we are like on paper and like if you add all our assets together, we are the richest club in England. Man City have more liquid cash because the Arab owners, they've got so much money, they pump it into City. Whereas us, we have the money in terms of assets, but we are just running on ourselves. And then what doesn't help is when Man United, the biggest club in England, is put as collateral to the Bucks' stadium.
Yeah.
You get me? Like, or the Bucks' team. So those is crazy thing that was proven. And I can't lie, this is when I said, yo, this needs to be investigated. The year Tom Brady signed for the Bucks, that first year when they signed him up, United didn't sign a single player over 50 million in the Premier League. So what happened? Well, like, okay, so we spent money the year before, we spent money the year after, but we didn't spend money that whole year, which translated in us securing top four because we're a decent team. We're still a top team, but we never pushed for the title, which is what we're used to. So everyone was like, oh, what's going on? Alarm bells. And then a couple people did their research and found out that Tom Brady signed in the same transfer window that we didn't spend any money. So then the two linked up.
Yeah, you carried the one. Yep.
You carry.
Yeah. The transitive property. You figured it all out.
Exactly.
Transitive property.
And then what doesn't help is that same season where we didn't spend money because of the Glazers, Tampa win the Super Bowl. And then it's like, hold on a minute.
To be fair though, that's if you're an owner for like if you're the Glazers, that's a win-win. Like my team, my European team, I didn't spend no money on transfers, and they still made the Champions League. And the team I just signed the biggest football player in the world, and we just won the Super Bowl in his first year.
The Champions League is not a bit. That's the delusion that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. When you're a club, you're meant to get Champions League. It's not a success.
Yeah.
So if you ask United fans, of course, this season we've had an absolute shocking season by our standards, finishing outside of Champions League. However, that is the norm, especially when the last 15, 20 years, Man United have always been maybe the odd anomaly here or there. They've always been in Champions League football. And then when the Glazers come and bought United, it's like, hold on.
It's like you have different expectations, Monty. It's like you get to the Champions League, and that's cool. That's like making it to the playoffs here in America. But if you're used to winning championships, and that's like the standard, that's what you want to keep doing, and the owners aren't doing that.
Why don't they do their research before? But like, I know it's a big name. I know they have they're rich men. So they want portfolios at the end of the day. They want to show off to their other billionaire friends and say, haha, I got United. Haha, I got Arsenal. But when you do this, just know this is why Arsenal fans hate. They hate the Cronkies. And you see, we as fans, we would love our owners if they was to spend more. You get it? Because if you spend the money and we win the league, look at City fans. Look at Ethan right now. They spent 100 million. They broke their British transfer record on Grealish. Yeah, 100 million.
And we didn't even use him this year.
They didn't even use him that much, and they won the league.
Wow.
But they still bought him, and he was still within the squad. So that added value to their team. That added depth, because now you're signing one of the best wingers in the league. Yeah. Look at them. They love their owners. They've won four Premier Leagues in the last 5 years. They're living life. I don't see them.
And a Champions League next year.
No champs.
Hey, and I mean, I don't think we should be talking about these American owners anymore. We give them too much of our money anyways.
Bad spit.
So, but just to kind of end this conversation, I guess, on the American owners and why they shouldn't own European soccer teams or football teams is because they don't care. Like Monty, you just went through it. Right, they don't care. It's like a dick flailing contest where they're just like, oh yeah, I got Manchester United, and like we're not gonna do shit because I don't want to put real money into it. But so
that's really a good point. It's like that's just at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong. I think like with United's overall season, I do think y'all were disappointing considering like the expectations y'all had, like for sure. Like, but I think for like a season review
having
for y'all,
Ronaldo.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like with Ronaldo came certain expectations. That's the issue. It's like if they didn't get Ronaldo and they still performed how they performed this year, it would have still been bad, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world. It's the fact that they went and got him and Varane, both of them are qualified Champions League winners. You know what I'm saying? They're both qualified Champions League winners who've done this before, and their whole mindset. Correct me if I'm wrong, Monty. Was the fact that like, yeah, y'all finished second last year, right? And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Chelsea kind of had a slow start, and Liverpool with all the injuries. But y'all did sign Ronaldo, you did sign Varane, and you did sign a Sancho. So it was to match whatever Liverpool and Chelsea were going to bring the year.
It's either we got second, so we secured second with a team that was all right, but there was clearly places that we needed to fill up. So what happened? We got second. Now, when you sign the likes of Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane, now we're expected to either stick to second, worst case scenario, get third, or challenge for the league. Because no one deserves to win the league. You have to earn that right to win the league. So we had to challenge. We started off challenging, and then it got to October times and things went bad. So now bringing this back to Sunday, for example, this is why Man City and Liverpool are the best two teams in the league right now, because Liverpool was losing and then they brought it back. City were 2 down, brought it back. And then it goes to show, like, the Premier League as a whole. They are trying to force this Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola rivalry talk. It's not a rivalry, because if it's a rivalry, why is it that Man City have won 4 in the last 5, whereas Liverpool's won 1 in the last 5? You get it?
And hey, don't get me started. If they lose this Champions League to Madrid, then what the numbers start looking like?
Oh, no, but the thing with Liverpool, they still have a Champions League.
No, they
get
do.
It? And like every player in the team has complete club football. They've won the champs. They won the Premier League. They won the Champions League. They won the FA Cup. They won the Carabao Cup. They won the Super Cup, the European Super Cup. They won the Club World Cup. So they've got 6 titles. Man City only have the Premier League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, and that's it. They don't have the European accolades. So this is why people were having that conversation on social media, in pundits, on TV. What would you rather have? City's domestic dominance or Liverpool's dominance in Europe and still achieve something in the league? Because at least they have a league title. If they didn't have a league title, then there's a proper conversation to have. Like, oh my God, Liverpool are not the team that we all think they are. But they've won the league and they've won Champions League, something that Man City haven't done. So which one would you rather have?
It's so weird. I feel like that's something that doesn't happen in American sports, because like you can't really say like it all matters in the regular season for American sports. For the NBA, for the NFL, it's just the regular season. But for this, it's like it just depends on how much you weigh the European play versus domestic play. I mean, if you like winning the European tournaments, which I feel is pretty cool. I like watching the Champions League, and I think just competing with all the other best teams in Europe and winning, that is probably where I would lean. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know Ethan
You're
probably
not wrong. This is why it's harder to win the Champions League.
It depends what you define as harder, because Champions League, it's a tournament. Like, it's you win or you go home. But for the Premier League, you have to do it. Like, the longevity of how long you have to do it is different. Like, you got to do it for damn near a whole year. Like, 38 games is a lot.
No, but
you see what I'm saying?
100%. But this is why.
Yeah.
I hear that. But this is why the Premier League is like, if we're talking skill level, it's harder, because why? You have to be consistent for 38 games. That's how long the season is in the Premier League. 38 games, every team. But the peak, the absolute, this is what we judge players on. When we judge Messi, Ronaldo, Xavi, Iniesta, Modric, all these great talents, yeah? What do we judge? We don't judge them on, how they did in La Liga. No, because La Liga football is different to Premier League football. So it'll be impossible to compare the two, like, different players. But what competition do they all play? All the greatest talents in European football play Champions League. So if you're playing against harder players, yes, it's only if you win the Champions League, you play 8 games. Yeah, you play You play 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah. So you play 16. So it's home and away. You're playing against the best teams of each country, the best 4 teams or best 3 teams of each country. Now, this is why Man United have only ever won the Champions League 3 times in their history. This is why City haven't won it. This is why Chelsea have only won it twice. If it was so easy, these teams would win it every year. Only Real Madrid have ever won it back to back. No team has ever done it.
I mean, Madrid did it 3 times. They won it 3 in a row.
Exactly. They did the 3-peat. They did back to back to back.
Don't get me started. Hey, I'm still of the mindset if Neymar stayed with Barcelona, they would have never went back to back. That's just me.
Yeah. I hate that as well.
That's just me. Hey, see that's just me though. That's how I feel. But I'm gonna agree. It's kind of like pick one because I honestly I'm gonna agree, bro. I would love a Champions League like this. The Chelsea game last year broke my heart because we can keep it. Let's keep it 1,000. We're better than Chelsea last year. It took Pep too long to figure out how to beat that Chelsea team. Because I wasn't so mad at him playing without 2 DMs as a lot of other fans were because we played them in the Carabao Cup with the DM and we got smoked. We played him in the league twice with 2 DMs. We got smoked. Like it's process of elimination. Like eventually he gonna get one of them right. You know what I mean? He just got it wrong that day, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like so I wasn't too mad about him on that one. But it's like
what do you think will happen on Saturday then?
Saturday, it depends if Thiago plays. If Thiago plays, Liverpool are gonna smash him. Because let's be honest, bro. As a Man City fan, like I guess we're sort of transitioning into the Champions League. Like as a Man City fan, bro, we was better than them in both legs. And I think if in the second leg, I think if Pep didn't think of it too much as like the Atletico game, where man, we're in Madrid, instead of let's going for like a slugfest with them, and them being able to ride the emotions of the fans. And if he just said, man, let's just put him in the dirt 15 minutes into the game and let's end this. You know what I mean? I think we would have smashed him. I think the problem came was we let them get their rhythm. Yeah, we scored first, but we let them have their rhythm for 80 plus minutes before we scored. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if Liverpool let Madrid hang in there, then I think Madrid are going to win the game. But if they're able to put them out early, which they're totally capable because they're way better finishing than Chelsea were, then I think this game is not going to be close. It's either going to be Madrid on a close one or Liverpool smash them.
So let me ask y'all, with the Champions League starting up, do y'all have a favorite right now? Is there a team that you think has the best chance?
Yeah. Liverpool are favorites going into the game because they're the better team. But football heritage is riding off Real Madrid to win 14 Champions Leagues. Wallahi,
Hey, what if football heritage end up getting it with Mbappe?
Ooh.
Hey, that football heritage. I don't hear too much about football heritage when he came.
Let's have that conversation. All right, cool.
All right, wait, hold on. Let's stick with Champions League, right? So
okay.
Because I think Champions League is the better way to transition to Mbappe. So with this game, right? Like what are y'all's like? I personally, these are 2 of the teams I hate the most. I hate Madrid and I hate Liverpool.
How'd you hate Madrid?
Because I grew up watching Barca.
Okay.
Like Man City's my team, but Barcelona will always have a soft spot for me because like I'm Argentinian. Half the teams were him and Messi and Mascherano. Like
you know what's so funny actually? I'm going to watch Messi in a couple of days. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. You're going to go see the game between them and Italy, Argentina and Italy.
Yeah. Talk your shit. I'm a proper Argentina fan. Where are you at, Ethan? Where you at?
Whoa, chill.
Hey, get the barcode. Yeah, we'll just screenshot it.
Is your cook about the barcode?
Get the barcode.
Hey, the thing is, you finna see the GOAT live, man. It's finna change your mind. It happens so slow, man.
Man, see Ronaldo and Messi in the same season. Chat to me, man. Chat to me.
Nah, bro, like that's gonna be so live. Like I said, bro, as an American, bro, I got to see him play one time. It's when Argentina came and played Mexico. It was a friendly, right? It was a friendly, right? It was still a live ass game. I can't even lie. Like we was down 2-0 and he scored 2 goals in like 10 minutes. I was screaming my head off. I got to see enough. I saw enough. But so what are y'all's picks? Because I hate both of these teams. If I had to pick one for agendas, I need Madrid to win. I need Madrid to win because if I can't see Liverpool winning, I can't. For my Pep argument over Klopp, because I still don't think it's close between them two. I think
it's not. It's just media talk.
Because let me explain this, right? Pep and Mourinho, it's not close no more. It's not close no more. I get Mourinho had Porto, and he did have Chelsea, but my issue with that is he wasn't able to keep it as long as Pep was.
That's Pep and Mourinho. That's the conversation. That's the conversation.
But nobody thinks Klopp is better than Mourinho.
People do think Mourinho's better than Klopp. Yeah. It's
no. I mean, nobody thinks Klopp is better than Mourinho. That's what I mean. Not Mourinho. Like, I think Mourinho is better. Like, all time, Mourinho's better than Klopp.
Yeah. But we're not talking about currently because one was playing Champions League and one was playing Conference League. Like, one's at AS Roma, one's at Man City, and one's at Liverpool. Like, we're not talking current, but we're talking prime Mourinho, prime Klopp, prime Pep. Pep is 1 and 2. Like, Pep and Mourinho 1 and 2. Klopp is somewhere like down there, man.
I think
like,
Klopp is with Conte and Ancelotti. That's where Klopp is.
Yeah, like that. No, Ancelotti's higher up. Respect the man. He's won 5 league titles in 5.
He did.
Come on, no.
Klopp is, in my opinion, I take Klopp over Ancelotti. I don't know about Conte. I probably take Conte over Klopp. Like
prime Ancelotti. Are you forgetting he won the Premier League with Chelsea? He won the league with PSG. He won the league with Real Madrid this season. He's in a Champions League final right now. Whoa, what's going on? He won the league with in the Serie A.
It's more so.
Come on, bro.
He does have the accolades. But my whole thing is like the impact. The impact is the biggest thing for me. Like
impact of what though?
Like
we're talking about them in their primes.
Okay, if we're talking them in their primes, then yeah, they have like. For me,
number one is
gonna be Pep.
No, what?
For me, it's Pep. It's Pep over Fergie. But the thing is,
no,
I can't change your mind, and you can't change mine with this, right?
Because that's biased. That's biased.
It's not biased because we saw them both at their best. Who won?
No.
At their best, who won?
At his best, Ferguson at his best was 99. You're forgetting this.
Does 99 beat those Barca teams?
No, but oh my days.
Doesn't beat it. Doesn't beat it.
No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this today. It's a different. Hey, if y'all want to, if y'all, hey, for the audience, if y'all want to see me and Monti argue, Pep.
Hey, you know what? Actually,
and Fergie in the comments, let us know. I'll do a whole hour about this.
Ethan. I think now would be the perfect time for you guys to do that. I have to dip because I've got some prior arrangements, but I think this is a perfect opportunity for the channel to get some real soccer, some real football talk in this bitch. I mean, let's get it live, man. You guys are already arguing. Let's get it going.
It's blooming.
Hey, is this thing on?